Hey guys, my name is Jason with Mount Baker Mining and Metals, and I've got some big plans for my underground gold mine next year. And one of the things I need to get ready for it is some timbering. So I'm down here at some property I own. I've got this big pile of logs behind me. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to work on getting some of these logs up to the sawmill, and we're cutting some timbers for the mine. Well, here's a quick look at our pile. I'm primarily going to be working on this big log here. And I figure most of the timbers I'm going to need are between 4 and 6 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into 12-foot lengths, put it on the back of the truck, get it to the sawmill, and then we can cut it down into timbers. All right, well, against my better judgment, I got that whole 40-foot log up on the truck bed. I got two 12s, and I ended up with two 8-footers out of it. So I'll cut some nice beams and lagging out of that stuff. And if you guys are interested, I've got another channel started. It's called S&J Forest Products. I've got a whole trailer load worth of stuff here that I'm going to take up. And on that channel, I do some logging, sawmill stuff. So if you're interested, check that out, and you can figure out what happens to all of these logs in a video on that channel. I'll put a link up here in one of these corners and also in the description so you can check it out. So Fred's out back getting the logs, and he's going to bring them over and load them on this Baker sawmill here behind us. And I'm going to cut them into true dimension 6x6, 4x4s, and then 2x for lagging. And so we can get them up to the mine and do some timbering up the raises and help hold up the hanging wall. So let's see what Fred can make out of these spruce I brought up to him. Well, here's how Fred likes to unload logs. Right here in the middle of the road. He says, "Don't worry, I've done it before." Oh, jeez. Bull in a china shop. All right, Fred, what do you think of the logs?
It's dirty.
It's dirty.
It needs to be clean.
Is that a good log or a bad log?
It's fine.
It's a fine log. You want me to get the wire brush and brush it a little bit or what?
Something.
Something. Do something, he says. I don't have a tape on me, but that's 24 inches anyway. Diameter. 12-footer. Oh, we're changing the blade already?
It's dull.
All right, well, I guess I gotta get this log clean for Fred.
You could figure out how many board feet is in the log.
Yeah, let's scale this log. Let's see how many board feet's in here. All right, so I'm gonna scale this log, and that's just a way that I could measure the log on the small end, which I think it's actually this end. I think it's that one. And that's going to tell us how many board feet is in this log before we cut it. And this is when you sell logs to the sawmill or something. That's how they pay you, is by the board footage. So we're going to measure across the diameter 26 inches. So now I can put it into a log scale calculator and figure out how many board feet the log scale says. And then we can compare with what we can actually get out of it and see how accurate the scale is. So I just scaled our log here. It's 26 inches across on the small end, 12 feet long, and my log scale calculator says there's 360 board feet in this one log, which is actually quite a bit. It's, no matter what Fred says, it's a pretty nice log. So we're going to cut it up into that 6x6, 4x4s, and 2x, and then I can calculate how many board feet we actually got out of the log, and we'll compare. But a board foot is a 1-inch thick, 12-inch square of wood. That's one board foot. So there should be 360 of those in this log. Well, what, our first blade's dull already?
Yeah.
What do we got here? How does it look?
No cracks in it.
It's not all cracked. It dulled already, huh?
The dirt.
Boy, somebody brought dirty logs.
Dirt is bad.
So what are we going to do?
A new blade.
All right.
Brand new out of the box.
Brand new. Now we got all that dirty junk off our cant here. It won't dull as fast. Well, this thing's pretty cool. It's run by a big diesel motor in the back there. It's got a clutch right there, and then just runs that bandsaw real fast around those two flywheels.
6,000 feet a minute.
6,000 feet a minute. Is that 100 feet a second? Something. YouTube will tell us. So this is a brand new one out of the box. So no excuses. All right, back in business. 5 minutes, change the blade, or less. Well, we've whittled our log down to this. We got a bunch of 2x here. We're gonna edge a little later, cut down to a little more manageable size. Those are way too wide to handle underground. But this, what we have left over, we can get 6x6s out of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're gonna whittle this down into our 6x6s, and then we'll grab another log. Well, here's what we got out of that first log. We got our 6 true 6x6s, 2 2x12s, 2 2x6s, and 4 2x8s. And I just did the math on that, and we got 356 board feet, and the log scaled at 360. So that is pretty much bang on log scale to what we actually got produced out of it. This stuff over here is the waste. There's not a whole lot of it. It's great firewood. But here are the 4 jackets. Those are called flitches. A couple little pieces we took off to true up the beam for the 6x, and then all the wane that we cut off those true 2x. So not a whole lot of waste there, but we sure to get some really nice wood out of that. So we'll keep going, cut up some more logs, and I'll show you the pile when we're all done. Well, here's a significantly smaller log. This is only 14 inches across the small end and 8 feet long. It scales at 60 board feet. So we're gonna try and, Fred doesn't like this idea, but we're gonna try and cut it into a 12x12 and then into a bunch of 4x4s. There's gonna be a bunch of wane on the edges of the 4x4s, but we'll see how many we can get out of it. And if it's a bad plan, Fred's gonna tell me all about it. All right, so we were just talking about that big log. What's the problem with pulling out the exact scale on that big 12-foot long log?
The log is too short to scale. The mills won't buy them that short. You need to buy them at 32 feet long.
Right.
Which, on a real log, the small end is small and the big end is big, and there's more wood in it, but less scale.
So a 32-inch or 32-foot log will scale at 200 board feet, but there's actually 400 in it.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a tapered pencil. Whereas when you cut them short like this and scale them, they're just a big cylinder, essentially.
Correct.
Okay. But the small logs, the smaller the diameter, the more board footage there is in them.
No.
No.
The less they give you for them.
The less they give you for them.
That log was only worth $18 at the mill.
Yeah. And there's, what, if you went to the store and bought that, it'd be $150 worth of wood.
Yes.
Even though it's spruce. There's a lot of wood there. A lot of good wood. We'll put it underground and it'll hold up the world. Here's what we got out of that small log. 6 true 4x4s and 2 true 2x8s. All 8 feet long. And that wood is about 85 board feet. The log scaled at 60. So we got almost 50% more wood out of that small log than we did out of that big log, which was pretty much on track with scale. Well, here's a quick rundown of what we cut today. A bunch of lag in there. Nice 2x6s, 2x8s, 2x12s. We got some 6x, some 4x. And over here, this is our last log with a bunch of 6 and 4x. So we'll get these loaded in the truck and back in the shop and get them stickered up and drying. All right, got our wood all stacked up here behind me. So you guys stay tuned for a future video where I'm going to take this wood up to the mine and get it all timbered up so we can get working in there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.